Well, hello everybody. It's me again. Anyway, I want to make a very strong point to you about how you need to make up your own mind working with water mixable oils. I have stopped myself from using them for
regular
years
oil paints
because of the solvents, because of the maintenance, because of the cleanup, because all that, all the above, the turpentine and so on. And in my office here in New York, my studio, I have some ventilation through the house system, but I can't open the windows in the winter, especially today. I'll turn into a snowman. I have a filter that I bought when I found out that if you get a filter, you should have a filter in your studio regardless, because and if you do get one, hopefully you will, there will be a layer of carbon in it. And that's critical from what I understand from the various sources that I've read about. So anyway, let's get that out of the way. Get a filter. Just like you wear a respirator if you're working with resin and things like that. If you're sanding, you wear a mask to protect your face from breathing in the fumes and so on, or hopefully you do it outside, but I still wear a mask because it's flying all over the place. Just protect yourself, wear goggles, things like that. I've said this in other videos, but when it comes to water mixable oils, even though you're not working with solvents, doesn't mean you shouldn't protect yourself, because in oil paints, there's something called cadmium, and the way I understand it, that's toxic too. I can hear my grandchildren up there. I hope you can't. Anyway, see my video about grandkids come first. So they're even in paint like red cadmium, yellow cadmium, things like that. Paints that have that. That's as I understand it now. I'm not a chemist. I'm only telling you what I read, and you really need to take your passion in your hand and run with it and find out what you're working with. Okay, so you have to do that, or you're going to hurt yourself. And so if you're working with certain things in your mediums, even if they claim to be toxic free or free of VOCs, volatile, I guess, something chemicals, when you start to mix things together, you don't really know what happens unless you're really into chemistry, So my point is protect yourself first. So now let's get back to water mixable oil. So as I said, I never really pursued oil paints because of the toxicity of turpentine and the high maintenance, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we got that out of the way. So I found out about, I forget how I tripped over it. I really do, because I'm constantly surfing about painting and mediums and things like that. And I found out about water mixable oils, which I'll tell you right off the bat is a misnomer, because right away when I saw that, I said, water mixable oils? Water and oils don't mix. But of course I looked into it, and really what it is what you should know about it. And you might find sites where they just use water. I strongly discourage that. And other artists that I have looked up, Googled, researched, read their blogs, saw their videos, strongly urge against that too. They suggest do not do that, because you're compromising your pigments in the oil paint. There's nothing in regular oils that will give you the ability to rinse your brush off between strokes, and then at the end of the day, clean your brushes with soap and water. So when I say I discourage using water as a medium, it's because you're using oil paints and you don't want to compromise your painting. You've come this far now. You've done your research. You decided you want to try it. You buy the paints. Invest in some water mixable mediums. It's only going to help you, and it's only going to make your painting look better. They make the mediums for these oil paints, and they work. I have some. I have linseed oil. I have a glazing medium. There's many brands out there. For example, there's Winsor & Newton, there's Holbein, there's Cobra, they're all out there. They all, I believe, may have some different technique for making them water, quote, mixable, which I want them to all to change to water washable. How do I lobby against that? Okay, so just, you know, you've come this far, invest in a bottle of medium and check it out. You know, get a few small canvases, get a small starter set, buy a little thing of medium and check it out. I'm telling you, you're gonna love it. And you're gonna find artists out there, listen to me, you're going to find artists out there who say, oh, why would you use those? They have soap in them. You're painting with soap. And God help us what the archival issues will be on that, you know, or oh, you're not a true artist, you know. That is a load of you know what, okay? It is. You're an artist. Don't listen to those naysayers. Do your research. Go to Jerry's. He explains on Jerry's Artorama. I think his name is Mike. He has a whole segment on water mixable oils. Go to Will Kemp Art School. You know, some of his courses you have to pay for, but he's got free advice. Go to the website of the oil paint that you've purchased and see what's in it. Okay, I think this one artist was saying, oh, well, they have soap in this one, when in fact they don't. And I'm giving you information from one newbie to another because I'm really passionate about this, and I really want, if you've ever stopped yourself from using these oils, don't do it any longer. If you can, and even if you have to wait for the spring, if you can't afford an oil filter or you're in a place where there's absolutely no way that you can get a filtration system, wait till it's nice out and go outside and do it out there. Okay, now there's plain artists, P-L-E-I-N, who say, oh, well, they're not good for that. Well, you decide. You decide. Who is everybody to decide for us, okay? You decide what's right for you. People, you know, they just love to some people, not everybody, just love to shoot it down, you know, because they like oil paints with, you know, traditional. Well, that's great. That's great for them, but it's not great for me. So I'm going to learn all I can, and I'm passing it on to you now, okay? So they're either adding something at the molecular level, they're taking something away, they're doing something with these paints to make them workable without breathing in solvents, without the high maintenance. What could be wrong with that? And as further proof, these have been around since the 1990s. So talk to me about the archival value now. Okay, so let me get to this paint because I'm off my soapbox now. This painting is done on top of gold and copper leaf. It's acrylic. What I decided to do is take this acrylic paint and do the rest in oils. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the black and white. A lot of artists also don't like black. Well, I do. I've always been a rebel. I've always been a rebel. My mother always said that. So rebellious. But I do, and I'm going to paint this black and white in further detail because the detail that I've seen that I can get from this oil paint is just beautiful. It's just beautiful. And I'm not saying that you can't get that with acrylics, but there's something about this paint that gives it something, and I love it. And that's all that matters. So I put in Mount Fuji. I'm not done with that. I haven't decided. I glazed the top with a very gentle red glazing medium, and I'm not done. You're going to watch me do all that, except the red glazing medium. I didn't record that. I'm sorry. But I will be doing it in part 2. So watch me what I do. Do your research, make your own decisions, people. Please make your own, artists, make your own decisions. Don't let people bring you down. Don't let them do it. Do what's in your heart, do what makes sense, and read. And trust the people who tell you, you can do it. You'll find a way, and you will. So I'll be right back. So I think I like to live dangerously because I'm jumping around on this painting because I want to show you how I'm going to paint in the detail with more detail using oil paints. And generally, you do the darker, you block it in first, and then you do the lighter mid-tones and the lighter tones. But I'm doing this backwards because I really want you to see what these oil paints can do for you and how they can make your painting really stand out in ways that I didn't know was possible. So as I go around this painting, I want you to notice that how the white looks when I use, I'm using two different kinds of brushes here. I'm using a slant brush and I'm using a filbert brush. I'm using the filbert brush to get in those larger areas, and I'm using the slant brush to get that really fine detail for the fur, which I am blown away how these paints are able to capture that. At least for me, it's easier for me. Now, I'm not saying acrylics, obviously you can get a lot of detail, but these paints are so easy to work with, and the paint grabs onto the brush, and then when I lay it down onto the canvas, it's so smooth. It goes on so effortlessly, and I can get a level of detail that, at least for me, and I'll only speak for myself as you watch me do this, is I can get a level of detail with this paint that I could never really get with acrylics. Just the brightness and the way it covers the painting, that both gives it depth and also makes the colors pop, really stand out. So I'm not glazing at this point. At this point, I'm actually going over parts of the painting that became darker from experimenting with glazing. I wasn't worried. I knew that I could fix it with the opaque black and white, and if I eventually glaze over that, well, we'll see. But for now, I'm refreshing those colors, and they're even brighter than they were before, which is what I'm going for. So if you look up at the top, I want you to notice something as I put in some more of this fur detail. You see that brownish part on the gold leaf. That is not tarnish. I was playing around with oil glazing, and I thought I knew what colors I wanted, and I changed my mind and I wiped them off with a paper towel. However, it was hard to get all of it off, and that's fine. Really, it is. It will still work for this. There's my tray. I wanted to show you that, and so you'll see what happens as we move along here. But just notice how I'm refreshing these colors. I can't help myself. I'm playing with the, to see what these paints will do. Yes, I'm an amateur, a total amateur when it comes to oil painting. I'm reading a book right now, certain processes that work well and are tried and true. But for now, this painting I'm happy with, and I know where I'm going with it. So join me when this is over, so that you can see how I finish it. Now, right now, I'm painting in Mount Fuji. The color that I'm using right now will not be the final color. I'm experimenting with colors because I have this big giant, what's supposed to be a moon behind my tiger, and I have decided to go a different route with that. And what I end up doing, or what my vision is to elaborate, include some more landscape, not a lot, because I don't want the painting to be overwhelmed. I want the tiger to really be the focal point, and Mount Fuji, because that's important to me. My mom was an artist, and she loved to paint Mount Fuji. Of course, here I am, doing things I'm not supposed to do. I should be putting in the detail and finishing the tiger and putting in the other, blocking in the other detail that I know I'm going to be putting in, but I can't help myself. I want to see if this will work, what I have in my mind, because I have found that oil paints are very forgiving and so easy to work with. So I'm just pushing the paint around and just trying to, and literally just pushing it around to see where it looks best. Now, here's something that, and we're near the end now. If you don't like something with oil paints, you can just wipe it off. You can use paper towels to do that. If you want a smaller area, you can use a Q-tip, which you're going to see me do in a minute. And so you have control more than you think over this paint. In fact, more control than you would have over acrylics because it takes longer to dry. So there's the Q-tip, and what I want to do is go through that water, and I want, because the moon's behind it, I want the water, I want some of it to show through. Now here I'm showing you my paintbrush. The reason I'm doing that is because I want you to see how easy it is to clean these brushes with just water. So you saw me dipping it in, you saw me wiping it, and there was no residue. Okay, so we're at the end. Here's some pictures. Notice the red glazing medium that I used, the medium with the dab of the red. Very diluted, and join me for part 2. I have a lot of work to do, and I hope you will be there with me. Have a great day, everyone.